Ladies and gentlemen, I have simply had enough. These past few years have been terrible. If you're unaware, Nintendo's PR run during this time has been absolute garbage. Some things were, out of their control, while others had no one else to blame besides Nintendo. And oh man, there's a lot of them. So today, I've compiled every single bad Nintendo business decision, and I'm gonna put them on a tier list. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm biting the hand that feeds me today. The rankings go as follows. D tier is where all of the not so bad decisions go, while the $80 games to S tier is where all the bad decisions go. The really bad decisions, like $80 games.
We look at every game and every experience and determine what we believe is the right price point based on that experience.
So the real first one, the Donkey Kong redesign. If you're unaware, Donkey Kong did not used to look like this. Ever since the Mario movie, he's been a little weird looking, and he's just looked a lot more expressive. I'm gonna put this in the C tier. Personally, I think it's actually a good change. Johannes Christopher, we're gonna need some input. What do you think?
He looks like a monkey.
He does look like a monkey. Thank you. The second one we have the eShop redesign. Ever since the Nintendo DS, the eShop has gone through a bunch of different iterations. Especially on the 3DS, it was some sort of colorful character. However, times are different. It is no longer 2013, it is 2025. And now our eShop has not been redesigned just once in the Switch era, but twice. Going from this very simple orange outline to this very simple red outline. And also, where is his face? Where is this guy's happiness? JC, where is this guy's happiness?
Red is the color of blood.
Yep, red in the color of blood. So he's not very happy anymore. Honestly, I'm gonna put this in the A tier because there's not eShop music either. They got rid of those because of, game trailers. I don't give a shit about game trailers. But for our next bad business decision, we have the removal of Diddy Kong. Now there is several different reasons for this removal. There's some people who don't even think it's a removal, but recently Diddy Kong has not been showing up in any sort of Donkey Kong anything. Mario Kart, he's not there. New Donkey Kong game, he's not there. Where is he? Where is Diddy? Hashtag free Diddy.
No, don't say that.
JC, what do you think about the removal of Diddy Kong from video games?
Oh no.
Now, spit it out, JC.
No comment, please. Don't make me say it.
Honestly, I don't know where to put this, bro. Where do I put this? You know, honestly, I'm put this in C tier. Our next bad Nintendo business decision is Super Mario 3D All-Stars and the limited time release of it. If you're unaware, Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a 3D collection of games throughout Nintendo's life cycle, and all of these games weren't playable on the Switch until the game released. You have to pay about $100 to get this game nowadays because the game was a limited time release. This game was only available for like a month or something. I forgot. It was really stupid, and they were doing that just to drum up hype. This was back when Nintendo was just making all the bad business decisions, bro. JC, what do we think about this? What do we think about the political and economic state of the world too, actually? Can you answer that for me, JC?
I am not qualified to answer that.
That's what I thought. Anyways, I'm putting this in probably A tier. Very stupid. Actually, I'm gonna put it below the eShop though, because I think that the eShop sucks now. Actually, I'm gonna change the eShop one. I'm gonna put the eShop in S tier because wow, man, they got rid of music, dude.
I wanted to get someone else's opinion on Mario 3D All-Stars.
Oh yeah, hold on, let me. Mario Fan 09. Give your opinion on 3D All-Stars for us.
Where's Galaxy 2?
All right, great opinion. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. All right, now get out of the stage. Hold on. Rest in peace, Mario Fan 09. Speaking of spending money, Nintendo's ability to not give sales. If you're unaware, Nintendo games absolutely never go on sale. Nintendo used to have an option to buy Nintendo games for cheaper. This is Nintendo Selects. Basically, Nintendo would re-release their older games for a much more discounted price and an insanely ugly box art. Except Nintendo doesn't do this anymore. So, where do we rate this, JC?
S tier. Honestly, terrible.
Even up with the killing of the eShop?
I dare say it's close to $80 games.
You're just kind of admitting you're broke, JC, with that one.
Man, shut up.
I think it's A tier though. I don't think it's as bad as the eShop getting just murdered, brutally slaughtered out back, you know? I'll put it a high A tier above 3D All-Stars, okay? Nintendo Switch Online. Everyone has been talking about this for the past few years, and it is the most controversial update I think Nintendo has ever done to any sort of business model they've ever had. If you're unaware, Nintendo Switch Online is basically a paid subscription just to play games on the internet. Even if you already have internet access, you have to pay extra just to play the game on the internet.
It doesn't apply to Fortnite though.
Yeah, it just doesn't apply to Fortnite. Also, there are different planes of this. Some give you access to DLC. However, none of them come with access to the Splatoon 3 DLC. Why? I don't know. But yeah, Johannes, what are we thinking of this? That's not your name, but you know.
I'd say B tier.
I was gonna say like A tier, because like it kind of killed Splatoon 2 when it released. I'll put it like low A tier, right? Like, doesn't that sound good?
Yeah, low A tier.
Yeah, low A tier. Our next bad business decision, Nintendo Switch Sports. Now, this game released at a time where everyone was being insanely nostalgic over Wii Sports. Everyone was like, I miss Wii Sports, dude. Oh man, I wish they released a new Wii Sports game that wasn't Wii Sports Club. And they did. At first, it looked amazing. And then people saw the Sports Mates and were like, what the fuck is this? Nintendo really fumbled one of their technically biggest franchises. I mean, Wii Sports is like the 5th best-selling game of all time. Actually, let me confirm this real quick. Here's some of the best-selling video games of all time. Wii Sports is the 4th best-selling game of all time below Tetris. So Nintendo Switch Sports has a lot of history behind it, a lot of hype, and a lot of promise. However, when it released, it did not meet expectations, and a year later, it didn't meet expectations, and 2 years later, it didn't meet expectations. They had Golf that didn't release with the game. It was an update that happened later. And, yeah, people didn't like this game. Jaquise Carl, what are you thinking? Johnson Carlson, what do you think?
Golf.
I'm gonna put it in B tier. I feel like they could have came back from it, but whatever.
Nintendo Switch Sports. More like Nintendo Switch the game.
And the next one on our list is probably one of, if not the most iconic thing on this list. The most iconic bad business decision in the history of the Nintendo Switch. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Joy-Con Drift. If you're unaware, Joy-Con Drift is basically when your thumbsticks give false inputs, making you, run really far to the left or whatever because, oopsies, my Joy-Cons are messed up. This was a small error in the Joy-Cons, and they never decided to fix it. However, what they decided to do was get sued and then offer free repairs. Joy-Con Drift has such a legendary legacy. I think, without a doubt, goes into S tier. There really is no way to put this in any other tier besides S tier. What do you think, JC? I don't care, bro. Just stop it. Just stop talking, bro. Just stop talking. The next one on our list, the V2 Switch. Now, this one might seem kind of weird to you because a version 2 Switch, I don't know what that is. At launch day, Nintendo offered a different kind of Switch than the ones that you can buy off the shelves right now. This version 1 of the Switch had a, hardware vulnerability. And of course, Nintendo does not like when people do this, and this version 1 Switch was not cutting it for them. Without telling anyone, they released a new kind of Switch. There were 2 changes, slightly better battery life, and the hardware vulnerability being patched. This hardware vulnerability is gone, and Nintendo's patching out any sort of software vulnerability that happens, and they're very good about it. And with the Switch 2, I don't think there's gonna be any sort of hardware vulnerabilities like that anymore. So, with this version 2 Switch, I'm gonna have to put it in the B tier. I know I should probably be asking JC for his opinion, but the next bad Nintendo business decision that we have on our list, New Super Luigi U. This is the last New Super Mario Bros. Game to ever release, and the reason is because it sold terribly. New Super Mario Bros. DS, released in 2006, sold 30.8 million copies. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, 30.32 million copies. And New Super Luigi U sold a whopping, staggering 1 million copies. A 30th of what each of these games sold on the DS and Wii. JC, what are we thinking about this placement?
It's green, so I'll put it in D tier.
All right. I mean, yeah. Speaking of Luigi and flops, the year of Luigi. If you're unaware, this is a year when Nintendo dedicated the entire year to Luigi, making several Luigi-themed games, having a Luigi-themed train in Chicago, which I feel like King Von might have rode the Luigi train eventually, which is kind of funny to think about. The year of Luigi was an absolute massive failure, losing Nintendo hundreds of millions of dollars. The games they released didn't do very good. The Luigi's Mansion game was considered the worst in the series, and a lot of people didn't even like Luigi. Mario is just the more superior brother. I know JC might say something differently because he seems like a Luigi guy to me, but yeah, honestly, this might be S tier. It's such an iconic failure. I just can't believe it, man. What do you think, JC?
He's green, put it in D tier.
This next decision is the Virtual Boy. If you're unaware, the Virtual Boy was just a side thing that Nintendo didn't want to seem like their next generation of consoles. However, they kind of made it seem like that's what it was, making this, by far, without a doubt, the worst Nintendo console launch in literally history. Yeah, I don't think anybody likes this console. Maybe there's someone in the Discord who likes it. What do you think of the Virtual Boy?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, yeah. All right, goodbye. I think we already know where to put this. Probably A tier, except it's not iconic enough because, what the hell is the Virtual Boy? You know what I mean? Like, who uses this thing? Well, there's a console that people have actually heard of right here. The Wii U. One of, if not the most iconic console flops in history. Even more iconic than the Virtual Boy. However, it didn't sell nearly as bad. The console only moved about 13 million units, way below expectations. Sales analysts were projecting this console to sell 100 million copies. So, yeah, someone was disappointed. The Wii U was marketed absolutely terribly. The ads were insanely cringe, and people didn't even know what the Wii U was. They just thought it was a gamepad. They just thought it was an accessory to the Wii. My parents still think it's an accessory to the Wii. I don't think there's any other place to put this besides S tier. High S tier.
So the console itself, not very much going for it.
Our next bad Nintendo business decision is over-reliance on express SD cards. If you're unaware, the Nintendo Switch 2 does not allow you to have normal SD cards. You need to have an express SD card or else you can't have any extra storage. If you want anything more than 256 gigabytes, good luck, buddy, because these express cards cost a lot of money. And, yeah, I feel like this isn't the problem right now because, well, guess what, dumbass? The console hasn't released yet, but, just wait like a year. Do you think it's a bad idea?
Yes.
Wow, the man said it himself. I'm putting it in B tier. And And now to our final conclusion. All of the bad Nintendo business decisions. $80 Switch games. And guess what? I got a tier just for this one. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my and partially JC's and partially the OS Discord server's tier list on bad Nintendo business decisions. What do you think of the tier list that I've created here?
Beautiful. 10 out of 10 tier list.
I don't like the Luigi one though. Put Luigi back in D tier.
This is not a D tier flop, dude.
Luigi in D tier.
Because it's green?
Yeah.
Albus, I'll make S tier green for you. Do you like this? S for Luigi.